I call to order this meeting of the select board, Town of Topsham, at the Donnelly Russell meeting room and online. We will first start with the pledge of allegiance to
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now move to the roll call.
Okay, Roland Tufts,
Present.
Matt Nixon, Marie Brilliant, Ann Callahan here, Ryan Holmes
Here.
and the town manager is also at the head table. So
Excuse.
Matt is excused and Marie is not excused. Thank you.
All right, town manager's report.
Okay, welcome everyone. We didn't have the first meeting in January. Happy New Year to everyone and everyone in the audience. Just want to update you on this year's property tax stabilization program. As we know, 2 years ago, it was enacted and they repealed it last year, but people who had filed for this particular fiscal year will be stabilized. Just received word that Maine's 131st legislature appropriated $15 million in fiscal year 24 for purposes of funding the property tax stabilization program reimbursements. When they enacted the program, I believe the funding was somewhere between 2 and 4 million. So they changed it to 15 million. During that time, we were talking through the assessors, and Justin and I met with Sag County and Senator Vitelli to talk about the impact that this law would have on municipalities, knowing that I think their figures from their budget office were not exactly accurate. So as it turns out, they weren't accurate. To date, municipalities have submitted reimbursement claims totaling approximately $26,500,000. Topsham's reimbursement is approximately $425,000. So due to the shortfall in funding, Maine Revenue Services is in the process of issuing partial payments to each municipality that submitted a claim for reimbursement, and they will initially receive 56% of that amount requested. Excuse me. To cover the shortfall, they're requesting additional $15 million in the supplemental budget bill, with the expectation that once approved by the legislature, the balance of the reimbursement payments would be made later this spring. So that'd be about $180,000 to Topsham. What we'll probably come back to you later once we get those reimbursements and tax impacts, but we're going back and forth with the attorneys, and the assessors have a different opinion, but we'll talk about that, what that means. Do we forgive that interest payment? Because by law, we would have to pay interest. So we'll just bring that back, when we start hearing more from the state and what's happening. Next item, the March presidential primary will be held on March 5th at Mount Ararat High School. Applications to request an absentee ballot are available at Town Hall. And Mid-Coast Community Action Program will be taking HIDE, which is Low Income Heating Energy Assistance Program walk-in applications on February 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Don Russell meeting room right here as we, in this room here. This has been advertised on a webpage to assist, and we're getting out to residents. I'll keep bringing this up so people actually come in and apply if they need it. And I'd like to congratulate Topsham police officers Gary Rodriguez and Fraser Vachon for graduating from the Maine Criminal Justice Academy in December. Went up there with Chief and a few other staff members, and it was, quite an event. So if anybody ever has a chance to go out and not turn that down. So, and this week we welcomed Suzanne Scocozo to the Topsham team. Suzanne has joined the finance department and has assumed the full-time tax clerk assistant position. And please stop by and introduce yourself if you haven't met her yet. And that's all I have.
Great. So we have to. Next, town, board and committee reports. Any updates? So we have update from the Energy Committee. Sky, please start.
Okay, hi, it's nice to meet you all. Oh, thank you. I'm Sky Salati, I'm the town planner. I don't think I've met any of you before, so it's nice to meet all of you. I'm a staff liaison for the Energy Committee, and I'm here to give you an update on the work that they have been doing to update the town's 2012 climate action plan. In July, the town applied for a community resiliency partnership community action grant. Sorry, that's a mouthful, to fund the efforts to update this plan. And in October, we were awarded $50,000 to do that. I believe that was probably the last time we had an update, and some of you may not have been here at that time on this project because we asked you to accept those funds at the time. Since then, we've begun working on several tasks outlined in the grant proposal, including plans for initial community outreach strategies and priorities. We have a draft of our first survey right now, and we hope to begin disseminating that to the community in the next month or so. The survey is just kind of an initial attempt to gauge people's thoughts and feelings on severe weather and how it's impacting them and the town and how they'd like the town to respond to those issues. We've also been working to hire a consultant that will take on some more of the more technical aspects of the climate action planning that's part of this grant. And we released an RFP in late November. We got 4 proposals in, excuse me, in December, and of those 4, Energy Committee and staff ranked them, and then we interviewed the top 3 candidates. We just finished that yesterday. We did our last interview, and Energy Committee is going to take a look at the rankings again, next Tuesday, January 23rd is their January meeting. They're gonna then make a formal recommendation to staff for who they think the consultant should be, and then staff will deliberate on that, and then we'll come back to you guys on February 1st to make our recommendation for who we believe the consultant should be. And then after that, we anticipate moving forward with securing a contract with the selected consultant and moving on to the rest of the grant tasks. And I think that's about where we're at right now. So thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Very timely update, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Public comments. Correspondence. I didn't receive anything.
I didn't receive any.
Okay. Adjustments to the agenda. We do have one adjustment we are going to add on item. Right. And it's regarding,
So,
basically, go ahead.
yeah, and police chief will elaborate on this. Midcoast Council of Governments to apply for a non-matching grant, but when we receive grant money, our process is to go to the board for the board to accept money. In this case, there was some additional money that's being offered. So we should talk about that in our agenda.
All right, next item is the consent calendar. Approval of the minutes of the regular select board meeting of December 21st, 2023. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed, no abstentions. Okay. Public hearing, none, unfinished business, nothing, old business, nothing. Item 2401 under new business, consideration and any appropriate action to approve a motor vehicle agent fee increase.
That's for the tech department, the state sets the rates for the maximum amount that we can collect, and we have not been at the max for the past, 2 or 3 years? 4 years.
2019.
4 years, so, and we came before you once, and you guys said, no, you didn't wanna raise the fee, and now we're coming again to ask you if we can raise the fee for a renewal from 4 to 6, and, no.
3 to 5.
3 to 5, 3 to 5, 4 to 6.
Okay.
New, huge. And so we'd like to know, we would like you to pass it.
I have one question. Does that get you to the point where we're at least breaking even relative to the expended or the amount of time we put into this? You know,
I would say no. No, I don't think so, no.
any idea of what are the neighboring towns charging?
Well, the state, most everyone goes right to
The max.
the max. They don't adjust, they don't adjust it very often. How many times have you seen it go up?
This is the only time. It was $3 from the time they started letting towns do it until they raised it. They raised their own fees in 2012 or 13 from 25 to 35 per registration and left the towns for another 10 years before they raised it.
So the immediate impact would be, we estimate about $19,000. It would increase our revenue about $19,000. Which doesn't pay for much.
So it's 3 to 5 for what one is that issue?
3 to 5 for a renewal and 4 to 6 for a new vehicle.
Any other questions? All right, I will make an agenda. Make a motion to approve the recommended motor vehicle agent fee increase of $3 to $5 for renewal and $4 to $6 for a new vehicle registration.
Second.
Moving seconded.
Is that the right way?
Yes, okay. Just confirming, all in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take the next item on 2404. This is the addition to the agenda. And under this item, it's consideration and any appropriate action to receive additional money for the Mid-Coast Council of Government non-matching grant. Excuse me.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. So you may remember, well, actually, no, Chair Tufts, you're the only one that's gonna remember that last year we received a grant from the Mid-Coast Council of Government. It was roughly $15,000 for equipment. We used it to purchase printers for our cruisers as well as some AEDs for our cars. So, they spread the money out throughout the Mid-Coast, but they called me last week and said that not all the agencies used the money. And they had roughly $3,800 left, but the grant's coming to a close in about 3 or 4 weeks. So they asked if we could use $3,800, which of course I said yes. And it's non-matching. We have to use it for certain equipment. We can't use it for certain things like weapons or so forth. So what we would like to do is we'd like to accept the money. One of the primary items that we want to buy with it are these lights that would go on the officers' uniforms. And the reason behind this is one of the primary issues or causes of officer motor vehicle related deaths is officers being struck at night when they're in the roadway, whether it's a traffic stop or clearing up debris or a crash or so forth. So we were going to apply for a grant through the state later on in the summer to try to purchase these lights. And basically what you do is you just push the button on top and it flashes. And so a lot of agencies have already gone to these. Their officers wear it on their shoulder, lapel. And at night, obviously, it just shows where the officer is standing. We also wear, glowing vests, but this would be an additional step. In 2021, there were 27 police officers in the country that was struck by motor vehicles and killed, including one from Hancock County. And then, last November, we had the 4 troopers that were on the side of the road at a domestic that were all hit by one car. So we think this is a smart idea. This would be about $2,100 out of the 38. We also need another printer for one of our cruisers. And then we were gonna buy some uninterrupted power supplies for trouble computers. So basically what we're doing is asking, it's a non-matching grant. We're asking if we can accept the money from the Mid-Coast Council of Government.
Any questions?
I have a question, and it's a great idea. I think this is great. The feasibility of it, wearing that on your lapel, what does that do to the vision of the officer when they're at the side of the car? I'm just thinking of a time when I had a light flash in my eyes and it's blinding, and if there's a strobe going off on your shoulder, does that impact their vision or their ability to do what they need to do for their vision?
Well, the nice thing about these is you can have it so it just shows the front, or it can just show the rear. So you can shut the front off and just have it on the rear. So, because to be honest with you, the officers wouldn't want it if it was constantly showing front and rear, because as we approach a car, we don't necessarily want people knowing where we are.
Right.
So the officers can wear it like this. It'll be just a little bit behind them. And, I wouldn't even see it if I wasn't over here looking.
Okay.
It's just showing to the backside. So, the other item that they have on these lights, which is pretty neat, is, if I can shut the rest of this darn thing off here, is, they have a light right on the top. And then it also will strobe. And so that's not even seen by the average person, but, if you all in our budget, you'll see that we put in for a helicopter. And if we get that, the helicopter will be able to see that when we call them in. So, Yeah, so no, I don't think it's gonna.
And that was really my only concern. I think it's great that we have visibility for our officers at night, especially rainy nights, wet nights, when vision of drivers is impaired.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure that the officers remain as safe as they can with that same light going on for themselves, so they can see what's going on around them.
yeah, totally understandable.
Yeah.
Thank you actually for even thinking of that for us, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the $3,800 grant for use by the police department to buy 17 LED safety lights, a printer for cruisers, and several uninterruptible power supplies with desktop computers.
We have a motion to a second.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Keep asking for money. That's a great idea.
Well, wait till I come up with a helicopter.
You might have some resistance with that one.
Life-size helicopter, but it's a drone.
All right, next item. 2402, consideration and any appropriate action on the appointment to the Conservation Commission, excuse me. Tonight, we met with Chris Doyle, to discuss his interest in this position. He's been on the commission before, has a great background and history. It suits this committee very well, commission. And, so we're going to take that up tonight. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chris Dwinell to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
Moving and seconded, all in favor? Thank you. And with that, we'll move to item 2403, enter into executive session 1 MRSA section 6A to discuss personnel matters. For a second.